What's up? What's up? Oh, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the globe. We are live here in the heartland of the U.S., you know what I'm saying? We got some new trucking industry data. We have some new trend line data. I haven't looked at freight waves. I'm going to pull it up now. So I thought I'd pop on the live real quick. We have some not so good rate lines. Spot rates they've dropped 10%. Van has dropped 13%, 11%, 13%. Flatbed is down 23%. It's not looking good overall. What's up, John Williams? What's up? I just decided to look at the trend lines and took a look at it, and it's not looking too good for spot rates. So let me switch the screen. Okay. So let's get into it real quick. What's up? What's up? Comment in the chat. Let us know you're here. What's up, John Williams? So as you see here, spot load posts is across the board. The rates as compared to the first week of August compared to the last week of July. Now, month over month, July to June, they're down 26%. But week over week, they're down 11%. Overall, van, which is box trucks, are down 13.5%. What's up, Amir? Flatbed in Hot Shot was looking pretty good last month. I wonder what happened. It's just, like I said previously, and I try not to be, super negative about stuff, but they're increasing interest rates. They're increasing, and I don't know if you guys have seen any of the world news, what's going on the other side of the planet, but stuff isn't looking good. Okay, and it's going to start affecting the trucking industry. Because a lot of product that gets moved right is either imported, exported, or moved to a local, let's say, grocery store. That is why you're seeing all these negative numbers. I mean, look, year over year, look at flatbed, man. Look at load to truck, down 50%. That's just loads, down 50%. That's crazy. And like this data is right in front of people, but people aren't accepting what's happening. Right now, rates are up year over year, up 6%. But I mean, you've taken half of the loads as compared to last year. But anyway, let's get into the news. Let's keep going. Fuel is still nation average around $5 a gallon. You can see the trend line of the spot market graph for this is a van truck. The middle is a flatbed, and the reefer is over here on the right. Rates haven't drastically dropped, right? They haven't drastically dropped, if I could speak. But they're trending down. You see the trend? It's like a bear market. You see a stock graph going down slowly. And people still say we're not in a recession. Like, I don't know what else to tell people, right? Everything's going down. I mean, flatbed rates are better than vans, but look, there's not as many loads. I mean, there's not as many loads for van either. But loads overall, I mean, you're looking at least 33% all the way up to 50% just cut, gone. You've got companies already laying people off. What's the layoff stats website? What is that website? Come on, Google, give it to me. Oh, I don't want playoffs. Layoff. Is this a layoff tracker? 68,452 employees were laid off in this year alone. Wix has laid off 100 people. Linktree, which most of this is tech, which tech's going to be first one to go. I mean, that's a lot of people. I mean, look at that. That is a lot of people without work. But anyway, let's go back to the trucking news. um, so yeah, you've got the trend is going down. Rates are getting lower and lower. But what I hope happens is, yeah, it's a big yikes, man. What I hope happens is for all the people getting into box trucking, because there's a ton of them, I'm getting tons of comments. It's like an influx every year. Last year, my channel, I made this channel in August, and it's been a full year. I just now realized we are at a year of this channel being created. Just the channel. This is like my 8th YouTube channel. But anyway. And during that time, I seen the most growth because peak season came in, right? And I was making content. And the same is happening this year. I'm seeing an influx of new people commenting on my stuff and joining the Discord and messaging me. It's like an influx of people. It is the best time to start a trucking company because peak season's right around the corner and you can get pretty decent rates, but it's also like the worst time to actually start a business, in my opinion, right now, because the future is so uncertain. We do have some certainty, and that is that interest rates are going to go up and be raised 4 more times, confirmed by the U.S. government. Okay. So these cats coming in, man, if I was to give advice today what to do, when people pay for my one-on-one, I tell them, how much cash do you have? What's your goal for your business? How are you going to survive a downturn in the market if there's not as many loads, if it's not paying as good? Can you survive? What should you be doing? I would say save as much as humanly possible this next year. I don't know what'll happen the next year, but I'm saying like peak coming up, people need to start saving every penny they make and quit buying all this bling. Like, oh, I'm going to go buy a Beamer, man. I'm going to go buy a sports car, man. I made like 60 grand this year. I'm going to go do this. It's like, man, those are the people that's going to get hurt. Anyway, let's go over to freight waves. And I'm also going to pull up world news because a lot of people don't like our news channels aren't putting it out. Nobody's talking about it. Current world news. Uh-oh. All right. Let's go to trucking news. Find it. Is it this? Oh, I don't want no newsletter. All right. Drones delivery. This is not the news I want. I want trucking news. Here we go. Bunch of stuff nobody cares about. Snyder driver ruled an employee. We don't care. Earned up to 0 a mile. Okay. All right. So they don't have any news we care about. Most carriers do not know what is this operation cost, especially dispatchers. Oh, you mean like what it costs to operate, right? Yeah, operation costs. Yeah. Yeah. Like most of these people that I'm seeing an influx in have probably never ran a business, right? They've probably never ran a business in their life. Okay. They're just happy go lucky, jumping out of their secure job into another job where they're the owner taking on more risk, but it's basically another job, in my opinion. And let's like they'll say, let's see here. Hang on. Let me pull up this image real quick and show you something. So, okay. So here is an image of one of the people I'm going to be working with, right? And what a lot of new drivers would do, and it's good that he stopped and he's actually going to be getting a one-on-one with me to find out how to get the best loads for him. Now, the unfortunate part is that he's in California, so I'm probably going to have to guide him to get out of that state, and he might have to stay away from home for a while. And that's another thing. If you are getting into the box truck business, it's a good time. Peak season's right around the corner, blah, blah, blah. But after that, it's going to get rough. But anyway, that's a story for another time. You are a trucking business, and I know a lot of people are starting this because they learned, hey, I can just drive for Amazon locally and stay local. You may not can, let's say, your first year if the economy doesn't collapse, as I just said. I mean, bad stuff's happening right now. You know, I don't want to be negative or nothing or be a Debbie Downer, but like bad stuff is happening right now with the economy, and nobody's talking about it. Anyway, you may have to get out of your state. You may have to stay away from home. That's personally a big reason why I didn't want to be in the truck. Now, I'll own a trucking company and have truckers drive for me, but I don't want to be away from home for 3 months at a time. You may have to do that. And if your wife's not supporting you in an agreement, or your family isn't supporting you in agreement, I mean, you may fail. But you have to have the mental fortitude to do that if that's what you have to do. Right? So, and that's a hard truth that nobody wants to hear. But let's take a look at this image of this low board in California here, right? 156 a mile, 206 a mile, 209 a mile, 203 a mile, 203 a mile. And, you know, the big question is, you know, I don't want to feel like I'm running slave labor with diesel the price that it is. And in California, it's particularly expensive. Let me pull this back over. I don't want to give his information. But it's $5.89 a gallon right now. Okay. And when I was paying $3.49 a gallon, one trip, let's see, the trips I averaged were probably, with Amazon Relay, were probably around the 170, 150 mile mark. But then you got to account for deadhead. And I would have to fill up for, let's say, I believe back then I filled up both my tanks for right around 190, 200-ish. So, I mean, you take this, and that's back then. That's at diesel prices back then. You take this $3.49. Let's say diesel was like it was when I was driving, and I had this rate right here, this trash rate. That night would have ran me just fuel around 180, 190, 180 at best. Let's say 180 at best. That's insane. So you're only pocketing just from fuel expenses. That's not putting money away for future expenses like your monthly oil change, your money you're putting away for maybe when you need a tire. I mean, you're not going to make a lot, right? You're left with like what? Let's say you spent $200 even on diesel. You're left with $150 to then not only divide up and put some away, but also pay for your bills, your personal and business bills. So the question is like, how do I don't want to feel like I'm doing slave labor. You may have to go out of this market that you see right here. You may not can run from this right here. You may have to expand, which his filters look like. He just has an origin city. Yeah. So you may have to expand your radius of where you're willing to pick up, and there may be some better rates. You may have to go out of state and stay out of state for a month to make a bunch of money, and then maybe take a week off. John Williams. I'm on the road right now paying $250 a mile, but the broker told me he can get it covered for $150, no problem, on a box truck. LOL. And dude, if somebody told me that, I would be like, I'd be like, hey man, that's fine. You have my name and number, give me a call back. I mean, I would just end it right there. Like, I'm just cutthroat when it comes to that. It's like, hey man, good luck. If you get it filled, that's fine. You got my number. If not, you know my price, $250. Give me a call back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how it is. I have no time for people. Like, that's just a waste of my time if somebody's told me that. A lot of new drivers are young, broke, and don't know how to do math. Yeah, it's like, well, it's not necessarily that they don't know how to do math. They've never ran a business. They don't understand cost of goods sold. They don't understand operation costs. They don't understand overhead. They don't understand sales. They don't understand negotiating. Accounting. Like, a lot of people are jumping into this, and they don't realize that, let's say somebody leaves their job. I need like a paint or something so I can illustrate what it is I'm trying to get across, right? Like, literally, we're going to go to paint right here. Let's say they leave good old handy dandy job right here, bring in, let's say, $54K a year, pretty good job, right? Yeah, it's a job. People have said the sentiment just over broke, but that's not true. This pays your personal bills. This is paying for your way of life, right? And then they'll just cut this off, take a sword and slice that income in half that they were guaranteed going to get at the end of the year. Go start a box trucking business, right? Let's say they buy a truck for, I don't know, $60K. Okay, with the credit that they had established with this, and they lie and they say that, hey, I've got this job, and then they get this money because, how stuff works. And then, like, literally illustrate this. And then they go out, and then like 6 months down the road, let's say the economy just collapses. Well, then they're at this. Or they find out that there's not as much or good enough money to afford their lifestyle that they had with this guaranteed income. Like, they don't know about compliance or DOT inspections. Hell, they don't even run the signs on the door. Yeah, it's like, people are so eager to just jump ship of their guaranteed income, right? They want this to be gone. They don't like the boss. They don't like the way they're talked to. Yet they're making the $54K a year regardless of how much work they get done. As long as they can be good enough to keep the job, get the money, they could save half of that. Say they save, but they would never do that because nobody wants to cut their expenses. Save half of that. You do need to know how the business works. You might need to hire a mentor or somebody that you trust, or if you know somebody already in the business that will give you advice for free, that is a way you can get advice. But don't, like, these people, I'm getting an influx of it. They're just jumping ship, man. They're just like, F that job. I'm going to go with my credit that I have, and I'm going to go get in a truck. And then, like, let's say they do last a year and they gross $100K, but then they go to their tax guy or whatever, or maybe they don't pay taxes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they grossed $100K, but then at the end of the day, they look at their profit and it's like, it's less than the job. Let's say it's $45K. It was less than they were making here. And people were like, oh, but I'm my own boss, man. I can work whenever I want, man. It's like, you're making less. You should have stayed at the factory or wherever the heck you's at the grocery store. It's like, and the truth is, it's like, yeah, you can work whenever you want, but the odds are you're probably working 30 days out of the month. instead of having weekends off at the job where you're working. What is that? I don't even know. 2 days a week. Say there's 4 weeks. 2 times 4. That is 8. Let's say you get 8. That's 22 days you're having to work as compared to having to work all month. Starting out. I'm talking about people starting out. You know? This is simple stuff. Anyway. All right. Let's get off this. I'm getting riled up here. But yeah, this is a upcoming call I have. He might see this live, but I'm still going to go more in depth, and I'm going to tell him some things he could do and all that good stuff. But like these rates right here, and this comes into play as well, where you can wait to the last minute and maybe it'll go up. But this is in California, and I guarantee it's untelling how many companies are in California. Hang on, I got a message. My dog's barking too. I'm having thumbnails designed. All right. But yeah, they don't know about compliance. They don't know about DMT inspection. But then also people aren't considering that they'll have to work more when they start a business because they have to pile on. All my hats are downstairs. But they have to put on the hat of being the operator. Okay. They were the operator before. Then they had to put on the second hat of being an owner, right? Owner-operator. Then they had to put on the accountant hat. Then they had to put on let's say they start hiring, the HR hat. Then they have to put on, what else? The mechanic hat. They might have to do their own maintenance, right? Yeah, let's get off of it, man. It's just like, man, people don't realize. They think that, and they've been sold that I'm going to start a business and I'm just going to make money. I'm not going to have a boss telling me to be at work. What about Amazon market, brother? It's going down and down. Amazon will go up come peak, I believe, as any indication from Prime Week. The rates that I was seeing were really good Prime Week. And Amazon may be a thing where you just do it during Christmas. Now, if you are one of the people, and there's a lot of them, like I've had an influx of them. If you're one of the people that just want to do Amazon, if your truck is parked, I need to like pull up paint again. Okay. If your truck is parked here, this is where you park your truck. This is your home. Let's say the Amazon facility here, and there's one here, and there's one like 20 miles away. There might be one over here. Let's say in this circle, this radius is equal to 150. If you're willing to work literally all night and do multiple trips in one night, if you can, if they're not taken off the market, if it's not saturated enough near you and there's not enough drivers, you can take multiple in a day. You're under the short haul exemption. You're under short haul exemption and can do multiple loads a day. The problem is, let's say you drive up here. Let me put, this is you. This is Amazon. Okay. And little post offices in here, just scattered around. But they're in the circle. You see what I'm saying? You see, like I'm making a big pizza here, all right? All right. So let's say you drive here and then you go to a drop, another drop, and then a drop, and then a drop, and then a drop, and then you got to fuel up. But there's a load here being picked up for another, let's say 500, that puts you at 1,000 for the night. But you got to fill up. So you have to make a pit stop at the fuel station, right? Fuel up for, let's say all this cost you 150 or 200 in diesel. Okay. And you were paid 500 for the first one. You go pick up the second one. That's another 500 plus. That's 1,000, right? Okay. You go drop off. Okay. And we take away 200 for fuel. You're at 800 on the day, right? Okay. Let's see. That's another 200 in fuel from that run. You're at 600. Okay, so these 2 trips, the problem with this is that you're going to be eating yourself alive in fuel unless you can find pretty close runs like 50-mile runs. But these multiple drops is going to eat you alive. So let's say you go fuel up again. Okay. No, let's say you go pick up again. Let's go here. Okay, you go pick up another $500 run, right? All right, put you at 1,100. And let's say after this one you're done, you go back home. Another 200 in fuel. Just hypothetical. Okay. So you're at 900. So out of $1,500, you keep 900. I mean, that's not a bad trade, is it? No, wait. 500, 1,500, 200, 200. Wait. Yeah, that's 900. I mean, it's not bad, but you could do this. You see what I just broke down and showed you how to do? You guys understand what I just did? What I just blabbered out of my mouth and like empty my brain on a canvas? If you guys want to only run Amazon, you're not going to be able to do 1 load a day at these current market prices. How long does it take to get your early access with Amazon load board? I accidentally booked a load and canceled it less than 30 seconds, and they made my score C+. Yeah. Yeah, you might be screwed for a while. No, you cancel a load, it's going to hit your score. It takes 6 weeks to fall off. 6 rolling weeks. So 6 weeks from that date, that will be erased from your Amazon record, right? And then you will be good again as long as you don't have any more mistakes during that 6-week period. That's another thing about Amazon. It's kind of crappy is that you make a single mistake, man, they're cutthroat. They do not care. They'll drop that score to that C, and they're like, guess what? 6 weeks is what you got to wait. There's nothing we can do. You can call them and open a dispute saying that you're going to have to somehow blame the platform and say the platform lagged and then it showed me that it was booked. You have to blame the platform. That's how I got a lot of the stuff that happened to me erased. Did it happen to me? Did it not? I don't know. I ain't saying it. But you know what I'm saying. Also got to account for maintenance, labor cost, insurance. If you take on 900 yourself, that's cool, but that's probably in reality 700 after budgeting for maintenance and rent. Exactly. And that's where we go to the CPM spreadsheet. That's where we go to my CPM spreadsheet. And I do give this away for free, and I'll have to link the link to you guys. That's not it, that's profit and loss. Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. So that's where you go to the CPM spreadsheet, right? Go back. What's up with these crazy insurance rates? I was hoping it was going to come down. So the problem is you've got insurance is high anyway for trucking insurance, right? But you also have inflation. Everybody needs to get used to the new cost. This is how it is. It's how it's going to be. So that's another reason. So CPM spreadsheet. Let's say, I don't know how to do that cost breakdown I just did. Let's say we did $1,500 in loads. Let's take an average 500. Oh, wait. Let's do calculator. Let's say each load was 150 miles, just for easy numbers. That should be 450, right? It should be 450. How much do you pay for 1 gallon of fuel? He was at $5.89, or shoot. Well, I had hypothetical numbers, so I can't really do that because I was doing like a flat 200. But essentially, you'd enter in your numbers and it would show you the profit that you had. Now, for these numbers that are just in this spreadsheet, insurance costs monthly, all this good stuff, factoring, we wouldn't have any factoring on Amazon. So our cost per mile would be 145 cost per mile based off these numbers, right? Gas price 220. How can I make that 600? All right, just off this example. Yeah, early access and all that. But anyway, just off this example, 500 a piece, 3 loads, you take home 900. You have to set aside some for your monthly oil change. I know when I was running and I did my own oil changes, the cost of just the oil was $284, usually a good average a month. It's crazy. That's just the oil. So you need to take out enough of this 900 right here and take out enough to be able to pay that, save for when you have an accident or when your tire blows, etc. Let's see what people are saying. Box truck living, you were good with the C+. It's going to take about 6 weeks. If I were you, I would do a couple of loads between now and then just to help out. Yeah, I mean, take what you can get, but also what I've literally brain dumped on this canvas and paint is like, you may have to take multiple loads a day if you can. If there's enough Amazon facilities near you and there's enough postal loads, you can do this, right? But you may be running from, middle of the night till middle of the day next day, long days. You may have to take a load from Amazon to Amazon and then take a load from that Amazon facility that you arrive at to the post office. I mean, you got to get creative. You got to be creative with this stuff, right? North Carolina is the cheapest insurance. Mississippi has cheap insurance too, very cheap. Early access isn't all that. Yep. All right, I'm caught up. And now my dog's barking again. Oh. But like these rates, man, you got to either there's a strategy of waiting until they get to what you want them to be. Now the problem with that is, or post your truck. The problem with that is that somebody else could be staring at it, and let's say their number is $2.10 a mile, but you want $2.40. They're going to take the load before you. Hang on a minute. Try to make the dog shut up. But that's the problem with that strategy. The other strategy is you pick up the 209 load here. You get it done. It's only one stop, right? That's one stop. You pick up, you drop off, number 2. Okay, you get that done quick, let's say. The next one, you book this one. Well, the problem is the pickup time. So let's say you get, I can't really scroll down, right? You get this one, you get it done, okay? Now, somehow you have enough time and you were able to drop off before this dumb time. I hate Amazon for this. They give you this load, right, at 12:40 pickup. They want you to drop that off. They want you to hold that load for 6 hours. That is the dumbest thing about Amazon Relay. Literally. If you can drop the load off, straight shot, you could probably get that done in an hour, right? Let's say it takes you an hour back, whatever. Because I've done that. And I'm just literally going to drop the lift gate and I'm going to push this next to the door. They can push it the rest of the way. That's all your job is. You're actually not allowed to go in the post office. Only authorized personnel, if you didn't know that. Anyway, because I actually worked for them. Then you go down here and you see this one. Now, these are going to be gone, and the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock loads are going to be up there, and they're probably going to be worth more than this by that time. Then you pick up that load because you're within, you should try to stay within the 150-mile radius of where your truck is parked. Now, it says here 220. These miles are not correct at all. They've never been correct. Okay, I've done the math myself when I was taking loads. I'm like, well, literally, I'm going up there and I'm coming back home to my post office. I know it's not that, that's not the mileage. Then you pick up one of these loads. You get that done, okay? You just have to, that's how you have to do it with these cheap runs, right? Unless in peak season, peak season, these loads are going to be worth a lot more. This load right here, the 302-mile load, man, that's going to be like in peak season, that load right there would probably be over. That might be up to $1,300 load right there. Easy. 4 drop, 302 miles, peak season time. That's going to be a lot. But anyway, that's how you're going to have to do it. If you're on relay and you see these low posting loads, and somebody always takes them at 210, you may have to work it like this. That's the second strategy. The third strategy is post a truck, and if you can do without a load, then you do without a load. If nothing hits your post truck and you just are not taking the freight and are not doing multiple loads a day, then you may have to go to sleep, get up, get on the DAT load board, and hit the phones. Do 100 calls a day. How much were you all in on the oil change to do it yourself? It was $284 full of oil, and I mean my time. That's all in. Yeah, I had an international. I had a 4300 2009. But yeah, I did that for the oil price and filter and everything ran me $284. So if I'm staying under 150 miles, do I still need an ELD? No, because you're in the short haul exemption, but I would probably still. So here's how working for a person with a contract for the post office worked. The post offices that they ran to, none of them had ELDs, and some of the people worked 18 hours a day, okay, because they're under the short haul exemption, and they return their truck to the same place every day. That's how you do not use an ELD staying under that exemption. But make sure, you might get pulled over, and if they ask check the logs, you need to show them how you're staying under the short haul exemption. Now, what they did do at the post office is they still had us log our time on a paper log. Okay, they still had us do it, even though some people were working 18 hours a day, doing multiple runs because they just didn't have the staff. And they never got in trouble. But always cover your own butt, right? Always cover it. Keep paper logs if you are trying to do the SHE, the short haul exemption, just to cover your own butt, and show and write down the miles from there to there as per Google or whatever app you're using, Garmin, whatever. Write down on that paper how many miles it was, yada yada, your start point and your end point, and then they can pull that up and see, okay. And then you tell them where your truck is out of. Okay, that is in that short haul exemption radius. Okay, he's good. That's how you do that. Sounds like they're mowing outside. See how that works? But again, for the people that watch this later, do not. Okay, let's close this. Do not quit this immediately without saving a butt ton of money. Let's say this is bringing you in. Let's say it's bringing you in the median at $54K a year. Do not just leave this with nothing. Even if you've got like 10 grand saved up, save half of this and have a savings of, in case things get bad, have a savings of, let's say, 20 to 30K. Have this after you get your truck and everything else. Have it setting. Because if stuff gets bad, people don't understand how bad it can get. Raising interest rates, they're talking at least 10% interest rates on just car loans. I mean, could you imagine a house loan at 25% interest rate, you do you know what's going to happen? Credit cards at 50%. Do you know what's going to happen? People are just running out here starting businesses, just willy-nilly. I'm going to go start a business, Dad. Go do it, Dad. I'm going to be my own boss, Dad. I hate my job. I just can't. Have this as your nest egg. And it may get bad enough where cash is trash, and that's fine. But have this as your nest egg. Okay? But that's it for what I had to spew today. Do not go and slice this in half. Try to build up a nest egg. Be smart with this. Okay? Okay. Because I'm having a ton of people coming in. And if you want to succeed, you're going to need some cash. People think I'm just joking around. Like, this is serious stuff. Like, your business flops, guess what? Your job probably doesn't want you back. Guess what that equals? Bankruptcy and losing everything. I think I spelled that right. Okay. All right, y'all. That's pretty much it all I have for this live. We've been live for, where are we at? 41 minutes. Oh, I'm going to go call some companies. I've been working on something in the background. And I'm going to continue that moving on down the road. Hopefully you guys got value out of this. Leave a comment about anything. I'll try to remember to leave a pinned comment of the one-on-one and the free CPM spreadsheet. Anything else anybody wants to add to what I have said? I'm not just going to tell you it's $1 billion industry and that you're going to make tons of money. I'm telling you that people are not realizing what's ahead. They aren't looking into the future. They're raising interest rates 4 more times. 4, not 3, 4. Do not just drop everything that you've built and jump into this at this point in time. Have a plan of action and execute. But be wary what's ahead around the corner. All right. That's all I got. Peace out. It's $1 billion industry, but it might not be for long. Keep that in mind.